All right, guys, well, let's go ahead and get started. My name is Jenna Ochoa, and I am in charge of partner marketing and agency training here at Justuno. I'm going to be moderating today's workshop, and we are hosted by Eric, the CEO and founder of Justuno, and Jamie Tharp, the channel manager at Oracle and Bronto. So welcome, everyone. And I'll go ahead and let the host introduce themselves. So Eric, if you guys just want to say hi.
Hey everyone, Eric here. Thanks Jamie and Jenna for organizing this. Just so you know, we work closely with Bronto. We are an email lead capture and sales conversion platform, working with thousands of retailers all around the world. And really happy to have Jamie here, who we work very closely with at Bronto.
Awesome, and hi there, I'm Jamie Tharp. I'm a channel manager with Bronto Software, as Jenna said. Bronto Software is the leading commerce-specific email marketing automation platform to the IR 1000. And we are a company owned under the Oracle umbrella. And I've worked with Bronto for about 7 years, and Justuno is one of our key partners, and I'm thrilled to be joining you today.
Jamie mentioned that we've been partnered for quite a while, and I know that Justuno and Bronto are longstanding partners. So Eric, can you give us a few details about our integration?
Yeah, definitely. So Bronto is what we consider one of our tier uno partners. They're one of our top tier partners. And so what we've done is we've built an advanced email integration that can be found in the Bronto App Center or within the Justuno platform. And what we've done is we've made it very easy to be able to sync and connect your different Bronto forms and lists through the Justuno app.
Awesome. Okay, and so for those of you who may not have Justuno or may not have Bronto, all that means is that you can use the Justuno solution, which is a lead capture solution, so a pop-up to capture an email address and funnel it into your email flows, which would obviously be what Bronto provides. So that's just kind of the short and sweet snapshot about how our integration works. I should have mentioned that I guess you guys know each other quite well. You've been working together for some time. I know that we've been partnered with Bronto for a while, and also you guys have recently merged with Oracle, so maybe I should have said Jamie from Oracle and Bronto. But Jamie, can you give us a quick update too on that merger and what that means?
Absolutely. Thanks for asking, by the way. So Bronto is 15 years old. We were founded in 2002. We're a completely independent, organically funded, bootstrapped company up until the point that NetSuite acquired Bronto in 2015. And then at the beginning of this year, 2017, Oracle acquired NetSuite. So Bronto Software is now an Oracle company. However, we still operate very independently and partner very closely with companies like Justuno, Magento, Shopify Plus, also NetSuite, obviously. BigCommerce, so all the big players that we're all familiar with in the e-commerce space.
Cool, yeah, thanks for the update. And I was kind of sad to see the little dinosaur go. He was my favorite part of your logo, but.
Well, if you come see us at a trade show, they're still very much alive and inflated. So please feel free to come pick one up.
He's still there.
I see 3 of them around our office right now too, actually.
Very cool. Well, just a quick note to the attendees, this training is going to be pre-recorded. So at any time, if you have any questions, you can submit those via the chat box on the right, and I will be manning the live chat on both sessions. So if you have any questions, feel free to submit them there, and I will take a look. Okay, let's go ahead and look at what we're going to review today. So today we're going to talk about creating a foolproof strategy for cart abandonment on Black Friday. And for those of you, I'm sure you're probably familiar with what foolproof means, but just a quick refresher, when something is foolproof, it means that it cannot go wrong. So no matter what you do, it can't go wrong. And the strategies and tactics that we're going to discuss today will not go wrong if you implement them in the correct way. So that's what Jamie and Eric are going to coach us through today. We're going to look at what your current funnel looks like, what preventative measures you can take in order to prevent cart abandonment, what your abandoned cart email campaigns look like, and how you can convert more from those email campaigns. Okay, So let's start it off by talking about your current funnel. And Eric, I'll go ahead and let you take this one, but let's go ahead and talk about perhaps how people have their current conversion funnel set up.
Sure. Your traditional channel, one of the top questions we receive is, how do I drive more traffic to my website? And most people's lead generation are in place with either paid channels, organic, and then that traffic comes into their website, and that's where the focus really stops. And so with Justuno conversion optimization, our entire focus is let's look at the entire funnel. You're bringing the website traffic in, and if you're fortunate enough to have someone add an item to a cart, what happens at that point? 90% of your visitors are not purchasing. It goes up to 98%. So if we look at why is that funnel not being completed all the way through, and what can we do in an automated sense to convert that traffic? Let's focus on that cart and the exit. An exit offer is a promotion that can run when someone has an item in a shopping cart and goes to leave the website. And traditionally, marketers, their main focus is driving traffic. For every $98 spent to drive traffic, $1 is spent to convert that traffic. The digital marketers in today's world with the data-driven marketers, they now are focusing on the actual complete funnel all the way to the shopping cart. We've sat in meetings where marketers have said that's products department, it's not our responsibility. You really need to take ownership of the complete funnel, and that's where it's all the way through. So we showed in the prior slide an example of an exit offer on the shopping cart. The number one reason people are leaving your website is to go coupon hunting. And now that coupons are acceptable to use, and you can even mention the word coupon. When we started Justuno in 2011, you could not mention the word coupon to a retailer. Now, thankfully, retailers have accepted that customers are expecting a coupon. So let's give them one, and you can vary the discount promotions that you offer. It's not just the cart. So let's take a look at an example here of a customer that might be shopping your website. In this example, this customer has added a classic lavender zippity shirt into their cart. And for one reason or another, they've decided to leave. So what we're doing here is we're actually presenting a dynamic promotion saying, hey, we have an exclusive offer, $5 off on this shirt. Would you like to accept this? And if they click yes, please, you as a retailer have the option to either present a code right away, or you can ask for an email address, which we then can sync into Bronto. And then if they don't check out, we can follow back up with an email with a specific product. Otherwise, if you present a code, you're going to see, we've seen customers go from a 0.58 up to a 1.78 conversion rate overnight. So you're looking at doubling, if not tripling, your sales conversion simply by engaging your visitor at the point of them leaving on your shopping cart. And this is so easy to set up. It's literally, you can set it up in 5-10 minutes, and you will start to see an increase in your sales.
Yeah, and exit intent is one of our top recommendations to set up if you don't have one running right now. So let's go ahead and look at, now that you've seen a couple of these visual examples, I want to look at the next step further down the funnel. So what happens once, let's imagine that you do capture this visitor's email address upon exit. Where do you go from there? And that's where I'm going to kick it over to Jamie. So Jamie, can you walk us through a couple of strategies and probably like some best practices that Bronto recommends to nurture these folks back into a sale?
Absolutely, I'd be happy to, and this is the perfect tie-in to exit intent offers. So please move to the next slide. Yep. So we will be talking about cart recovery messages. This is another massive opportunity in the conversion phase of what we like to call the commerce marketing funnel. So if you think of exit intent offers as kind of a little bit more top of the funnel because it's not necessarily targeted at activity in the cart itself, we're now focusing in on actual cart activity interaction with putting products in a cart. So a few stats just to kind of set the stage for how important cart recovery campaigns are. We'll play Did You Know? So first, did you know that 70% of carts are abandoned? Everybody blinks in disbelief.
That's awesome. I actually thought it was a lot lower than that, but yeah, that's pretty high.
Yeah, it's a lot. And interestingly, a very small percentage of marketers, last benchmark that we checked said fewer than 10% of email marketers employ this tactic. And of those surveyed, 42% of abandoned cart message recipients actually found these messages really useful. So these messages, or rather what Bronto recommends is a series of cart recovery messages, are automatically triggered to remind shoppers of their abandoned carts. I'll go ahead and preempt a possible objection and say that I know not everybody is literally forgetting an item when they put it in their cart. And we at Bronto are fully aware of that. There are lots of reasons that people put items in the cart. If you're like me, you might put items in the cart because maybe you like 12 things, but you really only want to buy 3, and you use it as a narrowing down process. Or perhaps you're technologically savvy, and you know that if you put an item in your cart, maybe you'll get an offer to further entice you to complete that purchase. So there's lots of reasons that people put items in the cart. But the point here, technically speaking, is that a cart recovery series is a series of messages that's automatically triggered to help convert purchases that are sitting dormant in a cart. These triggered reminders can be sent with or without special discounts to incentivize customers to complete the checkout process. And we'll talk a little bit further about how you should address whether to include a discount or an offer. Interestingly, at Bronto, we see that across our 1,500 approximate clients, abandoned cart or cart recovery messages typically account for anywhere from around 10 to 35% of total email-driven monthly revenue, which is very significant. So I'm going to give 3 high-level tips that Bronto actually found from our own proprietary research that we conducted with a pool of online shoppers. So in our study, we found that the best timing for that first message within a series is to send that first message no later than 24 hours after a cart is considered abandoned. Now, I say series because, as I mentioned, Bronto typically recommends that a cart recovery series consist of 3 or 4 messages. Please note that you don't need to rush to get that first message out the door, but you do need to be timely and make sure you stay within that 24-hour window. Now, if you look at this graph, some of our customers actually deploy those messages within the first hour or so, and that is also a very viable option if you're doing a multi-message series. Now, if you do 3 messages, be sure to send that first one out in a very timely manner. Within the first hour is not a bad idea. The second email should go out within 24 hours, and the third email should definitely go out within 4 to 7 days. Now, save that coupon or discount if you're considering offering one for the third email. Now, if you're only doing 2 messages, you want to send that second message, which would be the final message, within 48 hours. Interestingly, Bronto actually offers a random node within our cart recovery workflows that allows you to randomly send different consumers down different paths, so that some might receive a message without an offer, some might receive a message with an offer, and that's a great tool to use so that you don't end up training your customers to abandon carts in order to expect discounts. And we'll talk a little bit more about that on another slide. But finally, my key takeaway for timing is, while you want to make sure that you're timely, especially with that first message, do testing. Often just one variable within a multi-part cart recovery series can skew or dramatically affect the results. So be sure that you're doing testing for your own brand. So So tip 2, we've already said don't rush that. Don't feel like you have to rush that first message, although you do want to be timely. Even more importantly on the topic of don't rushing is don't rush the discount. In our study, nearly half of all shoppers who expected to receive a reminder did not expect to receive an incentive, discount, or offer. So that's interesting. So we've got 50% that do expect an offer, a discount, and 50% that don't necessarily expect it. Just important to keep in mind, though, that again, you don't want to train your consumers because you're really just training your consumers to lower your own margin. So tip 3 is, and this is Eric has already touched on this. I'll bring it in as well. Know your audience, personalize. So make sure that you're building segments to fuel and better personalize the series that you're building. So use the data that you have. The more precise data cuts you can apply to your series, the more you're going to be able to tailor your series content. So I'm talking about things, even very basic things like gender, location, and age. Okay, so what we've got here is a best practice version of a 2-message abandoned cart or cart recovery series. So what we see at the top left is the detection that a cart has been abandoned on an e-commerce website. And what we're going to do is we're going to move down and send a first cart recovery message in an attempt to recover that cart. And then we are going to delay 1 day. And moving up to the top of the second column, we will check to see if that cart is still abandoned. If we determine that, yes, that cart is still abandoned, we're going to ask a second question in our workflow logic. We're going to ask, is that shopper on the payment page or at the payment step in the checkout process? So when we ask that question, if we determine that the answer is no, we are going to determine that that person is not on the brink of checking out. So as not to train them to expect a discount, we will send a message with no discount, no incentive, but that message will have a new subject line, a new call to action, and maybe some different creative. Perhaps you're even leveraging something that you know about their gender or their past purchase preferences to insert some new dynamic content or creative into that message. Now, going back up to the question, is the shopper on the payment page or step? If we determine that, yes, they're literally on the brink of checking out, we're going to ask ourselves a question about the margin to make sure that they convert. So using Bronto's cart recovery technology, we can actually look at the contents of the cart and say, is this a large enough purchase that we want to make sure that we make this sale? So is the subtotal greater than or equal to, and in this case, we just arbitrarily chose the number $100, but obviously, set what that margin is for your own business. And if we say that, yes, it meets our discount threshold, then, maybe we send a 5% off or whatever you determine is the appropriate discount percentage, or perhaps, and this is a big one, perhaps you add that free shipping offer to make sure that there's no friction to complete the sale. So big success using this tactic among our client base. One of those very successful clients is our customer, World Kitchen. So World Kitchen actually saw within the first 3 months of implementing a cart recovery series in Bronto, they were able to recover 20,000 carts, which is pretty remarkable. And to the right here, we've got a breakdown of the anatomy of a somewhat straightforward but effective cart recovery email. So you'll see, best practice at the top. We've got a browse bar to be able to link directly back to their site, to browse by category. And then we've got some short, succinct copy at the top that's very clear. Also above the fold here, we've got a clear call to action. And then down below the fold, and obviously this is a mobile device, so fold is a slightly different term here, but at the bottom of the email, we've got offers to reduce friction and approach this recovery with a very customer support-oriented tone. So asking if they need help, making sure that they have the confidence that returns will be easy if the purchase doesn't work out, and finally reinforcing that this is a secure shopping experience.
Yeah, I think this is really cool, and it's also very powerful because it's so basic and simple. But to me, and I'm not in email marketing, but I think it's pretty obvious that just having a clear focus on what action you want them to take, and it looks like this email set up just like that. So those numbers are pretty amazing.
Absolutely. Another success story, our client Johnny was. Johnny was, again, you'll see here a theme emerging, similar anatomy of an email, short, clear copy at the top, clear calls to action with an image of the product that was abandoned, which is also a best practice, clear call to action for both of those products, and then finally value adds at the bottom. In this case, they're emphasizing getting in touch and they're how to connect with them via social media. So the results that Johnny saw was a 59% open rate, a 40% click-through rate, and a 17% conversion rate. Also pretty remarkable.
Yeah, that's amazing. And 17%, I think, especially if you're in apparel, that can actually translate into some pretty high revenue figures. So that's awesome.
Yep. And a fun fact about Johnny is that this actual email only accounts for 2% of their total email volume, and yet it generated 10.4% of their email generated revenue.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's just proof of why these tactics are something to, spend just a little bit of time either implementing or optimizing, and you can see really great returns. Okay, great. Thanks, Jamie, for those examples.
My pleasure.
Now that you guys have seen some actual visuals of what, the makeup of an email looks like, or as Jamie called it, the anatomy of a cart recovery email, now I want to talk about the next step in that funnel. So what happens when that person actually clicks through from that email? So here I'm going to kick it back over to Eric, and we can talk about how to increase the value of the traffic coming from those emails.
Yeah, no, this is the fun stuff. This is really new things that we've been working with clients to kind of push the limits, where Jamie showed us the really cool process of setting up the different segmented and personalized emails that are going to be going out to your customers. Well, now what we're talking about is what happens when they click that email, because that's where we have the really big opportunity, is that they're going to read the email and they'll be like, yes, I want that offer, or yes, I am interested in that product. But once they land on the website, we want to reinforce that marketing message. Simply mirroring the message on site is extremely powerful. And so, in this example here, Blenders Eyewear, they've sent this a marketing email with 15% off, saying use this code welcome 15. Well, what happens when they land on the website? Are they going to remember that welcome 15? So by segmenting your website traffic and presenting a promotion based off of the email they're coming from, you can reinforce that. So in this case, on top of the website, they have a simple marketing banner where they reinforce the message and the code, so it follows the customer completely through the experience. And from that, we're going to see a higher ROI, and it just creates that seamless experience. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, and even to add to that, Eric, we've seen some of our customers or some of our clients add, timers to those discounts, or there are different incentives for you, or different elements you can add to your offers to incentivize the user to go ahead and complete that purchase. But basically, it's just leveraging the real estate you already have with your website to push them further toward a completion and make all of that time and effort you spend with your email marketing worth it.
And what's nice, with the full promotions dashboard that we offer, is you can set these different promotions up ahead of time, so that as you're setting up your workflows in Bronto, you then set up the similar promotions for your on-site experience, and it's just a seamless, easy process. It's really, if you step back and think about it, it's pretty practical, and we just are really encouraging our customers to focus on that on-site experience once they've clicked through on that email.
Yeah, and another example, sorry, I just wanted to talk about this next example. I went ahead and put this one in. It's not directly related to email marketing, but it hones in on this topic of mirroring messaging. So Eric, if you want to talk about this and perhaps how it could apply, then again, maybe wrapping around to the top of the funnel there.
Yeah, it's the similar concept. You know, if you're driving traffic through your paid Google ads, you know, someone here is searching for ugly Christmas suit, they're going to click a Google AdWords campaign that has been set up. And when they land on that page, we want to reinforce that marketing message. You know, up top, it's, you know, $10 off ugly Christmas suit. It's reinforcing what that visitor came for and the marketing message. So, you know, in this case, we could even, you know, collect an email at this point as well and pass that back into Bronto and we know they came from which AdWords campaign, which product, and then we can do a segmented targeted email back to that customer. But this, you know, going back to the on-site experience, reinforcing that experience all the way through for the customer.
Mirroring messaging is one of the most basic and, like you said, practical tactics that a lot of retailers just overlook. But even if you didn't want to create an offer, even if you just simply put up an Uno bar with text, no CTA, you would be surprised at the effect that has on conversion rate. It's just a reminder to the customer of what you are offering them and displaying it on site as they continue to shop. So we've seen it be pretty powerful. Cool. Thanks, Jamie and Eric, for your input. Let me go ahead and throw up the links to our downloads here on the right. And from Justuno, we are going to give you the definitive guide to email pop-up design. It is a 4 or 5 page PDF that just shows you some really great visuals of pop-ups and has some best practices, especially around mobile pop-ups. So you guys can click on the right to download that, or we'll send it also in the follow-up emails after the workshop is over. And Bronto also has a PDF here. It's a cart recovery PDF that just gives you a few stats and reviews what Bronto recommends in terms of setting up those cart abandonment campaigns. So you'll again see those download links here on the right. And then also we wanted to extend a couple of extra for those of you that have stayed to watch the whole thing. So Eric, can you talk us a little bit through what we're offering with the free CRO review?
Yeah, this is a great opportunity where we're opening up our team of experts to sit down and take a quick look at your website to try to analyze some just very easy wins and opportunities for you as a retailer to get some professional insights. And a lot of times there's very simple things we can do to really increase both your email lead capture, sales conversion. So please take advantage of that.
Great. And yeah, if you guys click or if you're interested in that, it's going to take you directly to a calendar. So you can go ahead and pick a time that suits you and one of our experts will get on the phone with you. And then Jamie, the free cart recovery assessment, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. We would like to offer for anyone who books a discovery conversation with one of our Bronto reps, we would also like to offer you the opportunity to walk through a free cart recovery uplift assessment where we can help you understand exactly what kind of or not exactly, but a great idea. We'd like to give you a great idea for the return on investment that you would be able to expect from implementing a best practice cart recovery series.
Cool. Okay. Well, I'm going to leave both of these links up in the chat bar on the right, so you guys can click and book either a free CR review or a free cart recovery assessment or both. Great. And now I just wanted to transition. I know since this is pre-recorded, it was a little bit different of an atmosphere for some people. So what I did is went online and researched a couple of e-commerce specific forums and kind of seeded some questions that I'd like to ask both of you guys today that seem to be like popular topics in, you know, kind of around this Black Friday time of year. So let's go ahead and do a bit of a Q&A. Jamie, I'd like to start off with a question for you and for Bronto. Can you just give us, for folks that are really new to setting up, cart abandonment campaigns, or for people looking to optimize, what can you tell us about how many emails you recommend being in that? I know you kind of chatted about that earlier, but if there's just a quick and easy takeaway for that, what would you recommend?
Sure. Well, I'll preface it by saying that Bronto subscribes to a crawl, walk, run methodology. So don't let not having a 4-part or 3-part welcome series, cart recovery series, keep you from implementing anything at all. So, 1 is better than nothing. I would say ideal or most recommended is 3 or 4. So use that as your guideline, but again, don't wait to have the entire series built out before you put something in place, because you need to start recovering that revenue.
Yeah, and that's a good tip. I think, a lot of times people that are brand new to everything are a little bit intimidated, and it just causes them to be paralyzed. So if anything, take a little bit of action, and then you can optimize after you get it up and running.
Absolutely.
Okay, next question is for both Eric and Jamie, so whoever wants to answer first, go for it. But we came across a question that's just, what's the most common mistake that you guys see retailers making during Black Friday, Cyber Monday? So obviously it's a high volume shopping time, so there's loads of mistakes that you could make, but what do you guys think is the most common, and maybe suggest a correction for it?
Go ahead, Jamie.
Eric, feel free. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I would say biggest mistake is not optimizing transactional messages. We talk a lot about multi-part welcome series, multi-part cart recovery series, post-purchase series, and then merchants send out the out-of-the-box standard black and white receipts that look like something you get at the grocery store. So optimize your transactional messages. According to CAN spam law, 80% of the content of a transactional message needs to be related to the transaction that's triggering that message, but 20% of that content you can use to play with for marketing purposes. And the great thing about transactional messages is that recipients don't have to be opted in to receive them. So you should use this opportunity to generate additional revenue from your order confirmation and shipping confirmation messages.
And I guess for me, oh, sorry, did you want to comment on that?
Nope, I was just going to say that's a good tip, and see what Eric had to say.
I mean, most common mistake, from a broad common mistake, I would say is that, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, you're going to see a huge influx in traffic, and you're probably seeing an increase in your ad budget to drive that traffic. So the most common mistake I see is not taking advantage, leveraging, and converting the maximum amount of website visitors that you have during this holiday season. So, for whatever effort you're putting to drive traffic, put that same effort into what happens when that website visitor lands on your website, and you're going to see a much higher ROI by investing in that time on your current website visitors. It's no different than if you had a brick and mortar store and you drove a bunch of people into your store for a sale, but you didn't focus on them when they're in the store. You just sat behind the register. Let's get out on the floor. Let's engage with your visitors, and let's close some sales. My common thought there.
Yeah, and I actually really love that visual or that illustration about, any time that you're learning about e-commerce optimization or e-commerce improvement, put yourself in the position of having an actual physical store. And lots of you listening, some of you probably do, and some of you probably don't, but it's a great perspective to take in terms of, what does that follow-up sequence look like, or how often should I speak to this person? So I think it really humanizes the experience and probably helps you think through a lot of these strategies a little bit better. Cool, that sounds good. So let's go ahead and take the next question. This one is for Eric. So people are wondering, cart abandonment is such a popular topic anyways, but especially during this Black Friday, Cyber Monday, where, like you said, you're going to have a ton of traffic. Should people be focusing more on preventing abandoned carts, or should they focus on capturing those carts? So I guess when people are talking about that, like maybe they're looking at other types of website optimizations that they could do to perhaps prevent abandoned carts, or should they focus on putting a lot of time into building a campaign to capture those people, or both?
Yeah, so, I'm a former online retailer myself, so I understand the kind of realities of working with the shopping cart. You have the most basic things that you want to put yourself in the shoes of the shopper. Are you providing, when it comes to prevention, are you providing the information that customers want to know at the point of checkout? Are you telling them when the product is going to arrive? Because shipping is still the number one reason consumers abandon shopping carts. I can tell you our number one promotion across the entire Justuno platform. We're serving, 20 million plus promotions a month. Shipping is the number one converting promotion. It is what your customers care most about. So make sure you're answering the shipping questions on your shopping cart page, and that can be done by simple text, plugins, whatever it is. Work with your developers to make sure you're answering that question for your consumer. And then other prevention things are making sure the customer feels comfortable shopping with your business. So whether it's your logos for your Better Business Bureau, or you have reviews of your store, whatever it is, to make sure that person feels comfortable. Then looking at capturing abandoned carts. The easiest thing you can do, and the nice thing about Justuno, is as a digital marketer, you can turn on and off promotions through a simple dashboard. You do not need a developer. So I would say, run a free shipping promotion on exit on your shopping cart and see what happens. You can also A/B test it with a discount. If you already offer free shipping, you can offer expedited shipping. You got to keep in mind, you're competing with Amazon Prime. Shoppers that know they're going to get the item the next day. Focus on the shipping promotions, and that's my number one suggestion.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I think you made a good point there too, is to, test some things. So if you do feel like you're in a good spot, like maybe you are sort of a well-versed e-commerce owner, or even if you're not, if you've had, just a bit of traffic, but you feel pretty comfortable with where you're sitting, it could be worth setting up an A/B test on a promotion just to see how your customers behave through this shopping season. And then you can come away, hopefully with more revenue and some more insight into your audience. Okay, next question I want to talk about. Like I said, before this, I sort of sourced a few forums that are very active, and this one came in particular from the Shopify Plus forum. So for retailers that have multiple locations and are selling to several countries, a lot of them notice a heightened cart abandonment rate from specific countries. So I just wanted to ask both of you guys, what would you recommend? For example, if you've peeked into your analytics, you see that you have a specific country or multiple countries that have high abandonment rates. What would you suggest to retailers to set up to optimize their website traffic to, to deal with that a little bit better and smarter?
I guess I can start with that one. The segmenting your visitors. So we were just talking about cart abandonment, and when you look at the interest, the customer profile of a Canadian customer versus an American customer, well, guess what? That Canadian customer shopping a US-based e-commerce website, they have different things on their mind. They have taxes and import duties that they have to pay. And they also have different shipping options. So what we want to do is, and you can do this through a simple Uno bar, a message bar across the top or bottom of the website, where we can identify through their IP that they're in Canada. And we can actually speak to them with targeted messaging about shipping or common questions, even payment. Different countries only accept different payment processing. You can let them know that you accept their local currency, their local payment processing. And that's one way, once again, on the shopping cart page, that you can speak to them in a segmented way and really help them, ease them through that purchasing decision. And Jamie, if you have anything to add to that, please go ahead.
I'm going to endorse your advice. I think you've covered it.
Cool.
Okay, great. So Jamie, the last couple of questions are for you. They're more specific to email, but one question that we do have is, what other types of automated campaigns would you consider must-have?
Great question. We always refer to the revenue trifecta at Bronto, which is multi-part automated welcome series, multi-part cart recovery campaign, and multi-part post-purchase series. So those are the big three.
Okay, and then the second one that's specific to email is, I guess this is more direct to what we just presented over, but how do these abandoned cart emails get triggered? So I know you walked through that a little bit when you showed us the diagram flow inside of, the actual Bronto setup, but can you be a little bit more specific about how those get triggered off?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So I guess there's a couple different ways. As in Bronto, there's usually several options to your desired, or several options or several paths to arrive at your desired outcome. And that is absolutely the case with cart recovery. So if you are let's say, a Magento Enterprise customer, or a Shopify Plus customer, or a customer of one of the e-commerce platforms with whom we have pre-built, predefined integrations, the majority of those include a cart recovery functionality or trigger. So that would be triggered through the implementation of that pre-built integration with the e-commerce platform in Bronto. Additionally, we have other means through JavaScript and listening capabilities to put a cart recovery campaign in place.
Awesome. So I think that, there could be some technical questions there. So if anything that either Jamie spoke about that you have questions about, or Eric, if it sounds a little technically confusing, like how would you target people from a certain country, or how would you trigger a certain email to fire, absolutely book one of the free sessions, because that's not only just a review, that's also open time for just Q&A with general questions that you have from today's webinar. So I guess that wraps everything up. Thank you, Jamie and Eric, for taking time out of your day to go over this. I know it's going to be super helpful, and I know that people are starting to watch and read and learn everything they can before this kicks in. So hopefully they'll take some advice and get some extra dollars off of what they learned today.
Yeah, thanks so much, Jamie, for your time, and Jenna for organizing.
Absolutely. Thank you both for inviting Bronto to participate.
Yeah, thank you guys, Jenna. You've been wonderful.
Thank you to all our guests too. Appreciate the time, and we're here to help.
All right, thanks everybody. And again, if you didn't grab the downloads, we'll be sending those through an email after this. So don't worry if you didn't get it. We'll follow up with each of you. And thanks again, everybody. And that's it.